With his iconic orange hair and massive Zanpakuto, Ichigo Kurosaki is unmistakable. But does this figure capture the essence of the Soul Reaper we know and love? Let's break it down. Admittedly, while I have done some videos about anime figures, they've been few and far between. When the 6-inch Bandai Dragon Ball Super figures started, I did touch on some of those because they were releasing around the same time as the Power Rangers Legacy line and had similar quality levels. Now, with McFarlane Toys jumping into the anime figures game via Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War, I thought this was another good opportunity for me to jump back on as well, especially as a way to compare them to the DC Multiverse line that McFarlane has been kicking ass with for several years now. Really quick, before getting a closer look at the figure, I do want to point out something that I found to be interesting. The packaging for the Bleach figures is much smaller than the standard DC Multiverse figure, even though the figures themselves are of similar sizes. Now though, it's time for a good, slow, up and down look at both the front and back of Ichigo. First, to point out the obvious, the figure does feature cloth goods for his apparel. I did play with it a little bit to see if it could easily be taken off, to show what's underneath. But the short answer is that the pants are easy to remove, but not the top. It's sewn together in ways that make the only way to remove it being something that would likely permanently damage it or the figure itself. Underneath the iconic outfit, though, the figure is indeed well articulated. I'll get into more detail with that part later. The body itself is sculpted on a very thin frame, especially when compared to many of the muscular characters of the DC Multiverse line. I will bring some of them out later so that you can see such a comparison. Anime in general tends to draw those characters in a very streamlined style, rather than the exaggerated muscle structure of comic book characters. And McFarlane Toys has done a great job of capturing that difference with this figure of Ichigo. The little bit of exposed body that you can see outside of the apparel does have a great skin tone to it, and the tattoo-style markings are placed on quite nicely. Appearance-wise, I really couldn't have asked for any greater accuracy. Even the face sculpt, as well as the hair sculpt and color, are pretty much all spot on for the character. Now, I'll give you a look at the articulation as best I can while working around the cloth goods apparel. The neck gets full rotation side to side and down, but not much up. The shoulders don't quite hit a T-pose as well as they should, but they do have similar butterfly effects to DC figures. The elbows crunch up very well, and wrist does rotate at the peg joint, but there's no other movement. The torso has rotation right under the chest as well as at the waist. The legs move front to back okay, as well as side to side. The knees are double jointed, and the ankle has plenty of movement. Now, I'm going to give you guys a quick look at the accessories. Ichigo comes with a displaced and 2 closed fist hands, and of course his sword. The stand is pretty much the same as what comes with other McFarlane figures, except with the Bleach logo stamped on. The fists work great for any poses when not using the sword. Finally, regarding the sword itself, while it does look pretty good, it's quite soft and flimsy. That is unfortunately consistent with other recent McFarlane figures with similar weapons. Before reaching my final score, next I want to bring out some other McFarlane Toys figures for the sake of comparison. First up, I have the Jonathan Kent Superboy figure. I thought this would make a good side-by-side comparison because of Jonathan's thinner frame. It really gives you a good sense of what I was describing earlier about anime characters having a more slender appearance versus comic book characters being more muscular even when they're still on the thinner side. Next up, since McFarlane Toys wouldn't even exist without their premier character, here is Spawn himself on the left. I still find it ironic that his first time getting a truly articulated figure came in the line of Mortal Kombat figures due to his appearance in that game. Finally, up on the flight stand, I have the brand new Action Comic Superman with a wired cape. As you can see, Ichigo fits right in amongst the other McFarlane Toys figures. So with all that said, now it is time to find out my final score, by using my guidelines for a complete and fair review. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome to SeViLion Collectibles. My name is SeVil, and I am thrilled to share with you my passion for action figures, as well as other collectibles, primarily inspired by my favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. You will find that my ever-expanding collection features iconic superheroes, legendary science fiction characters, and skilled wrestlers, spanning a wide range of genres and franchises. However, I do occasionally incorporate characters from my all-time favorite DC comic stories. If you find this video entertaining, or you have found some helpful insights, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from me. Seriously, I really do appreciate all of the support so far. Back to my guidelines, Ichigo does feature a brand new sculpt and new cloth goods, making the overall appearance highly detailed and incredibly accurate to the character. The proportions are fine considering the source material, but the articulation is a little bit lacking and the balance is not quite as good as I had hoped it would be. Ichigo does include enough accessories, I did not have any quality control issues with mine. The price was fair, and I was able to find plenty at my local Target store, leading my final score to be an 8 out of 10 rating, meaning it is excellent and worth owning for all fans of the character. So if you're a fan of Ichigo, or even just the Bleach anime in general, this is absolutely worth adding to your collection. With this ranking in mind, I have high hopes for the future of the line and maybe even additional anime figures later on. Disclaimer: I utilize an AI voice clone to significantly enhance and deliver a consistent and clear experience, despite the occasional challenges I might face while speaking. I absolutely enjoy sharing my enthusiasm for collectibles with you all, but it's essential to recognize that there can be some slight speech difficulties, particularly after an exhausting day at work as a sales professional. These difficulties can sometimes hinder my ability to maintain the required energy and focus while creating new videos, which is why I rely on my AI voice clone to assist me in carrying out this responsibility. By doing so, I can ensure that I continue to provide you, my valued viewers, a steady supply of engaging content to enjoy. So, after considering all of that, I'm going to wrap it up by giving a quick shout out to the awesome people who helped make this channel possible. Be sure to check out their socials and hit up the description for more ways to keep up with me on all my different platforms. Alright, catch you guys on the next video.